In the year 2020, with the death of George Floyd, prompted a resurgence in the Black Lives Matter movement. And along with that, we also saw the rise of the Stop Asian Hate movement, which openly took stances against racism perpetuated onto the Asian community. But as someone who's Indian American, that idea of Stop Asian Hate never particularly felt like it applied to me. You know, because of the idea of race being a social construction, made to separate and put people into a hierarchical society. The word Asian always denotes to people from Korea, China, Japan, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and the like. But the idea of being Indian has always become in its own category personally, and I know this is anecdotal evidence, so it's not 100% based in fact, but I remember many people growing up thinking that Indians are from Africa, which is very disappointing nonetheless, but a statistic that is, I think, should be addressed at least. But I was thinking about the idea of just casual racism towards the Indian community, where even the moniker of the model minority is something I don't take as something to be proud of, because you're just classifying us and other Asians as somehow the good ones versus minorities, of other people of color as somehow bad. So by lifting us up perpetually, you're ultimately putting another group down. So the word model minority has never stuck right with me. And on top of that, the idea of just, the Indian community being subject to casual racism in the sense that for some reason it is still okay and still widely accepted to, put out the stereotypical Indian accent here and there, mock the 7-Elevens, mock the motels, mock the Patels, all these sort of things when, racism towards any other group is met with harsh, backlash. And I'm not the joke police here. I understand that a lot of them are jokes, but I just wanted to point out the fact that, it doesn't make sense to me why selectively, this one group of people, the Indian people, it's all jokes, but for other groups, it's not a joking matter, and it shouldn't be a joking matter. So that always stuck with me personally. But I think, as someone who has been subject to those jokes here and there, I think I've mentioned in previous videos, it not necessarily, makes me dumber, puts me at a lower economic class, makes me poorer in the sense, or gives me certain inherent disadvantages. But there is definitely an invisible wall that, says that, you kind of just have to accept this because that's just the way things are. It's the American dream tax. You're going to be on the best country on earth, and the price you're going to have to pay is the here and there racist jokes. And, I don't consider myself a snowflake. I'm not someone says a racist joke or a joke in racist that has to do with my race. I'm rarely the one who's going to take a stand and call it out because, I understand the good value of a good joke. A joke can be funny. A joke doesn't, can be serious. But, I like what J. Cole said with every joke, there is some truth into it. My only gripe is just the fact that it's not that I think we can't make jokes about any races at all, or, we should make jokes about everything. I'm not taking a stance on whether or not, what I think about joking about races. I'm simply pointing out the fact that some races are subject to different standards of, okay, we're going to make fun of this race, but this race is not allowed to be made fun of. This demographic, this minority, I wonder what in society determines that and why it is determined that way. And as someone who is, um, on the receiving end of it, I think it's just interesting nonetheless. And, stereotypes, even the positive ones, like all Indians are smart, all Indians are geeky, nerds, you know, good at math, whatever you want to call it. Obviously as a 13-year-old boy in middle school, that was nothing. That, with an underdeveloped brain, that was a great thing to hear. Who didn't want to hear that you were smart, that your people were very smart? But then it comes with, drawbacks when you're later on. Because I feel like, you know, that my quote unquote smartness or my intelligence isn't, something that I as an individual work to attain. Rather, it's just the fact that I grew up in a culture, class, race, demographic of people that are just inherently smart. So it makes me feel, a little undervalued. So the point I'm trying to make there is simply positive stereotypes can have negative repercussions as well. But long story short, to summarize what I just spat out rather, would be um, I'm not necessarily taking a stance on whether or not I think it's okay or not okay to joke about races. Rather, I'm simply pointing out that there are different standards, that one race can be subject to a different level of social acceptance about joking and some can. And my question is why? And I want to know your thoughts. Should all races be held to the same standard or not? Um, Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy your day. I will see you tomorrow.